It's time for a brand new program, and this show is called Tech Bytes with Cloud9 Networking Solutions, and the man is Kyle Redden. He is the proprietor. He's the jack of all trades. He's the one in charge. He does everything. Kyle, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good. Now, first of all, it is a computer program show. And if there's any questions that you have, we'll take your calls at 352-796-7272, 888-613-2050. But first, Kyle of Cloud9 Networking Solutions, he's going to tell us about who Kyle is all about.
Well, I am an 11-year Army veteran. I was a communications officer, an information management officer, and a systems administrator. I have certifications from CompTIA in Microsoft and Cisco training with Windows 8, Windows 7, Windows Server 2012, and all different kinds of Cisco switches and networking equipment.
Now, did you learn a lot of this in the service?
I learned a lot of it in the service. I learned, I've done some schooling since I got out of the service.
And by the way, thank you for your service.
It's my pleasure.
So, Kyle is got a startup business, and again, called Cloud9 Networking Solutions. And you're based out of where?
I am based out of Beverly Hills, but I'm serving all of Central Florida, Western Central Florida.
So you go everywhere.
I will go wherever I'm needed.
I like that. All right. So what we're going to talk about on this first program, we're going to get the feet wet, if you will. And if there's something that piques your interest, again, give us a call, 352-796-7272, 888-613-2050. And Kyle says we're going to talk about what computer is best for you. Okay, so a lot of people are going, well, I don't know how to work a computer. I don't know what kind I should get. Or, I've got some knowledge of computers. What do I get? Do I get this? Do I get that? What do I want to do with my computer? I guess that would be probably one of the first things you would ask.
Absolutely. Ask yourself, what do you want your computer to do for you? What do you intend to do with it? Do you just want to get on Facebook and talk to your kids and grandkids? Do you have a business and you need professional computer software? Maybe you watch Netflix and Hulu and YouTube all the time and you want to make sure that you have a computer that's optimized for that. There are a lot of different things. There are also gaming computers, which we're not going to really talk too much about today. But there are as many different uses for computers as there are people that use them. But we broke it down into three basic overall user types. Mm-hmm. We have the basic user, that's just internet browsing, checking your email, going on Facebook, playing Facebook games and other games like that, Angry Birds and Candy Crush and whatnot.
Right.
No real hardcore gaming.
So a lot of people would then something simple. A lot of these games have to be downloaded, correct?
No, most of the games that I'm talking about for basic users are games that you'll play on Facebook. And you don't download any of these games. The games that you download and that require certain system specifications are a completely different type of game. And if you're using those games, you'll have to consult the manufacturer of the games to make sure that your computer meets those requirements.
Now, as far as people go, well, what do I need? How much do I want to spend on a computer? What do we, again, basic. What should be our line?
Well, first of all, you need to decide what sort of computer do you want. Do you want a desktop computer that you keep in an office in your home or in your business? Do you need a laptop? Do you need a 2-in-1 computer, which is kind of a laptop that turns into a tablet? And then ask yourself, do you need any kind of special software? Maybe Microsoft Office or Photoshop or anything like that. So those are some of the basic questions.
What do you prefer as far as do you prefer a desktop or a laptop?
For me personally, I prefer a laptop, but everyone is different. It just depends on where you intend to use your computer. Laptops are slightly more expensive than desktops.
And they don't last as long as desktops, do they?
They can.
Okay.
Absolutely. There's no real difference in quality.
Okay.
It's just a cost thing. You have to miniaturize things with laptops, and that costs money.
Sure.
So if you're not going to leave the house with your computer, you probably don't need a desktop, or you don't need a laptop. If you're going to take your computer with you when you go places, you're probably going to want to look at getting a laptop. And if you travel a lot, you might want to look into a 2-in-1 that acts as both a laptop and a tablet. So it all kind of depends on your habits and where you want to use your computer.
Now, as far as the laptop is concerned, taking it everywhere, as far as getting on the internet, you have to, what is that, like a Wi-Fi?
Generally, Wi-Fi is becoming more and more available. I know there are companies that have Wi-Fi hotspots all over Central Florida. Mm-hmm. And driving down the road, you can pick up Wi-Fi. So it's not as much of an issue as it used to be. Most major businesses have Wi-Fi. McDonald's, almost every McDonald's has Wi-Fi.
Starbucks, all these places have it. You just come in here and you see signs that says we have Wi-Fi. I mean, you can go into a fast food hamburger place and they got Wi-Fi. It's like, really?
Absolutely.
Because some people like to do some of their work and such, or whatever the case may be. Now, how, even though it's getting more prevalent with Wi-Fi, mm-hmm. What is it like with security?
Wi-Fi is always going to be less secure than regular wired networks. However, it's not something that the regular user should be concerned about. Okay. I think we're going to do a show next week about home networks and how to secure them and things like that, and where we'll talk a lot more about Wi-Fi security. But generally, don't do anything that's really sensitive. Don't deal with sensitive information at McDonald's or one of these public Wi-Fi places. But if you want to get on your Facebook, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly safe. If you want to browse the web or go through Amazon or watch Netflix or YouTube, it's all of that is perfectly fine. You shouldn't be too concerned about someone hacking in and stealing your information.
That's what, it's so funny when a lot of this stuff with the Wi-Fi, I know we're going to talk more about it next week, but you hear these companies that are coming out saying, well, you don't have to worry about any security issues. They're trying to peddle their wares, of course.
Absolutely.
It makes sense, but just have to basically it's just being smart on where you're going. I mean, that's just it.
Exactly. I mean,
if you're not too sure about something, then don't do it.
If you don't want someone looking over your shoulder, getting information off your computer, you probably don't want to look at it in a public place. And that's really the biggest concern when you're in a public place like McDonald's or Starbucks or places like that where people gather to use their computers is, be careful what you look at because you never know who's looking over your shoulder. As far as people stealing your information electronically, it's not a huge concern.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as how much should they spend?
For a basic user, if you're just going on Facebook and browsing the internet and things like that, don't spend more than $500 on a laptop. If you do, you're overspending. You're getting more than you'll ever use. And if you're getting a laptop or a desktop, about $300 should be about your limit.
Really?
Absolutely.
Stripped to nothing, or does it still have?
At $300, you should be able, for a desktop, you should be able to get 4 gigabytes of RAM, a 1.9 gigahertz processor, and 500 gigabytes of hard drive space easily for $300 on a desktop.
Now, is that processor a single processor?
That is one processor that probably has 2 cores.
Okay, so like a dual core.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, things have changed over the years as far as when computers were first out. I mean, as far as more of the, let's say, the last 10 years, things have improved immensely.
Absolutely. Oh, and there's something called Moore's Law that it states that processors and computers will double in speed every 6 months.
Really?
Absolutely.
So See, this is where a lot of people get upset, because if they go out there and drop a few coins for a nice computer, that thing's going to be obsolete in about 2 years, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
That is at the top end, the cutting edge. And if you're buying gaming computers, that's something you might need to be concerned about. But for the basic user, when you spend $300, that computer should last you 5-10 years.
Wow.
Absolutely. If you take care of it and you keep it updated, it should last quite a while.
And make sure, obviously, depending on how else you're going to go through things, you make sure you have an antivirus security suite, if you will, on those to keep yourself protected.
Absolutely. Always use an antivirus. And there are so many free options that you should never pay for antivirus.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, boy, I just renewed mine. I'm in trouble. I knew I should have asked him before my thing expired 2 days ago, and I had to renew it. Well, those are the lessons that you learn, see. Now, if you're going to be doing a lot more on there, let's say you want to, you're streaming audio, video, and what about if, say, you decide you want to transfer music on certain things and stuff like that? You're going to need some more space. What would you look at as far as price-wise and space on a computer, desktop, and or laptop?
Generally, for streaming, you want to. For a desktop, you shouldn't spend too much more than $500 and about $600 for a laptop. And for that, you'll get 6 gigabytes of RAM. That's quite a bit.
Man.
And a 2.1 gigahertz processor, which is what an Intel Core i3 is, which is actually a quad-core processor. It's a really good processor. And about 750 gigabytes of RAM or gigabytes of hard drive space, and some of those, even at that price point, about $500 for a desktop, they have a hybrid hard drive, which is has a solid state hard drive as well as a hard disk drive, which is what we're used to seeing.
Oh, really?
And what that means to you, without getting too technical, is that your hard drive is a lot faster, and you can save information a lot faster.
Okay. Sure. So, and if you're really techie, as far as a professional thing is concerned, what would entail someone to get the professional, as far as like Office Suite, special software? You're talking stuff that takes up a lot of space and a lot of,
Absolutely. A lot of space, a lot of processing power. And every office has different software that's specific to their business and their line of work. But generally, you still shouldn't spend more than $800 for a laptop in a professional environment, and for $600 for a desktop. And for that, that's 8 gigabytes of RAM. That's a 2.9 gigahertz processor with an Intel Core i5 and a 1 terabyte hard drive.
That thing flies.
Absolutely.
That will fly.
Absolutely.
It's got wings.
Yes. It is built to multitask. It is built to stream as well as do things like photo editing, Photoshop, pretty much anything you could ever want to do on a computer. You shouldn't spend too much more than $800 unless you're going to do gaming and things like World of Warcraft or hardcore, really.
That stuff's got a lot of graphics and stuff, so
right.
It takes up a lot, doesn't it?
Right, absolutely. And if you're doing that, and you need some advice on what to buy, absolutely call in and we can give you some advice. But most gamers kind of have their preferences and they already kind of know what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these people are just addicts, man. I mean, it's just probably nuts. You probably see it a lot. I mean,
absolutely.
Do you get into all those kind of?
I don't game.
Okay.
I stay up with the technology,
okay.
But it's not my thing.
Right.
I'm afraid I'm gonna get addicted and get stuck.
Nothing will get done then, right?
Absolutely.
Any questions? Give us a call, 352-796-7272, 888-613-2050. You're listening to a brand new program called Tech Bytes with Kyle Redden from Cloud9 Networking Solutions. Back in 60 seconds.
With security breaches in companies like Home Depot and Target in the last year, network security has become a huge issue. With small businesses relying on computers and the internet more and more, network security isn't just for the major corporations. Small businesses deal with sensitive information every day, and making sure that